What's up, guys? Welcome to another exciting edition of Real Estate Podcast, episode 328. I'm here with Griffin.
I'm here with Trav.
And I'm here with Adam.
And this week we watched No Country for Old Men. I mean, the Revenant. That's what I was thinking. Dude.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
It was crazy, right?
I would have just stayed on the farm, dude.
Yeah, right.
Fuck those pelts.
Yeah.
I mean, DiCaprio didn't catch a break.
Oh, no.
He caught one at the end when those Indians didn't kill him, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do y'all think he was going to die? He only got stabbed in the leg, right?
I mean, after all the other shit he had been
Yeah.
through, there's no way, right? Like,
Well,
Well,
one dude
I
puts
remember-
that bad medicine on him. Like,
I remember originally, like when the first time I watched it, I was like, all right, he's going to see it through. But like once the mission's done, he's going to fucking die or succumb to whatever. You know what I mean?
right. Yeah, I mean, I was expecting at any moment. Because, like, he just gets over the bear attack, has a crazy fever.
mm-hmm.
The dude that nurses him back to health gets hung. Then he gets ran off of a mountain. He guts the horse and crawls inside of it.
Like a
I mean, he goes
tauntaun.
full tauntaun.
He did.
Yeah.
They got naked.
He
He never
I
go
mean-
full tauntaun.
The whole time he's in that water, I'm like, that shit's gotta be cold as fuck, dude.
Yeah, right.
Like-
yeah.
Ain't no way. But they were built different back then.
Yeah, right. They didn't feel pain, you know? But yeah, this is loosely based off of a true story. So there's actually a guy named Hugh Glass. He was a frontiersman, fur trapper, trader, hunter, explorer. Best known for his story of survival and forgiveness after being left for dead by companions when he was mauled by a grizzly bear. So it says that Glass and the rest of the Ashley Party eventually returned to Fort Kiowa to regroup for a trip west. Glass surprised and disturbed a mother grizzly bear with two cubs. The bear charged, picked him up, bit, slashed, and lacerated his flesh, severely wounding him, and forced him to the ground. Hearing
I mean,
Glass's scream
Fucked him up.
yeah. Several of the party made their way to Glass and killed the bear. In words attributed to another trapper, Hiram Allen, who was at the scene, the monster had torn the flesh from the lower part of the body and from the lower limbs. He also had his neck shockingly torn, even to the degree that an aperture appeared to have been made into the windpipe, and his breath to exude at the side of his neck. Blood flowed freely, but unfortunately no bone was broken, and his hand and arms were not disabled. The men were convinced Glass would not survive his injuries. Nevertheless, they carried Glass on a lifter for 2 days, but doing so greatly slowed the pace of the group's travel. Henry asked for 2 volunteers to stay with Glass until he died and then bury him. Fitzgerald and a man later identified as Bridges stepped forward, and as the rest of the party moved on, began digging his grave. Later claimed that they were interrupted by attacking Arikara. The pair grabbed the rifle, knife, and other equipment belonging to Glass and took flight. Fitzgerald and Bridges later caught up with the party and incorrectly reported to Ashley that Glass had died. There is a debate whether Bridges was actually famed mountain man Jim Bridger. It says here that despite his injuries, he regained consciousness but found himself abandoned without weapons or equipment. He had festering wounds, a broken leg, and deep cuts on his back that exposed his bare ribs. Glass lay mutilated and alone, more than 200 miles from the nearest American settlement at Fort Kiowa on the Missouri River. Glass set the bone in his own leg, wrapped himself in a bear hide his companions had placed over him as a shroud, and began crawling back to Fort Kiowa. To prevent gangrene, Glass allowed maggots to eat the dead infected flesh in his wounds. He crawled back in real life.
Fucking Bear Grylls ain't got shit on
I
this
mean-
motherfucker.
I mean, let's take a minute to acknowledge like that. It takes a smart motherfucker to realize, you know what? Let's let nature kind of do its thing, but not do
Yeah.
its complete thing that results
Yeah.
in my fucking death. You
Yeah.
know?
So the boy, that's just kind of added. For,
Yeah. Yeah. It says that after he got back, it says after recovering from his wounds, Glass set out to find Fitzgerald and Bridges. He eventually traveled to Fort Henry on the Yellowstone River, but found it deserted. A note indicated that Andrew Henry and company had relocated to a new camp at the mouth of the Bighorn River. Arriving there, Glass found Bridges, but apparently forgave him because of his youth and then re-enlisted with Ashley's company. Glass later learned that Fitzgerald had joined the army and was stationed at Fort Atkinson in present day Nebraska. Glass reportedly spared Fitzgerald's life because he would be killed by the army captain for killing a soldier of the United States Army. However, the captain asked Fitzgerald to return the stolen rifle to Glass, and before departing, Glass warned Fitzgerald never to leave the army or he would still kill him. According to Yount's story, Glass also obtained $300 as compensation. So in reality, like he tracked these dudes down and forgave them. You know what I mean? Like, so there was a, that I've got the book and I've read part of the book. I haven't read all of it. And there's a lot of, you know, embellishing on
Oh yeah.
fact. Um, but I mean, him, I'm pretty sure that he did have a kid, I believe, by a Native American lady. And he was kind of part of a Native American tribe, like a little bit. You know what I mean? Like as
Yeah,
much as you
honorary
could
member.
be. Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
they didn't sit there and stare at him when he rolled up.
yeah.
Like,
So he was, he was. I mean, it's kind of fascinating, like the real life stuff, because it's like he crawled his ass 200 miles in the snow and mountains to get back to this fort. Then he hunted the two guys that abandoned him down and forgave them. I mean,
Well, he
like,
was gonna kill the one dude, but
yeah, yeah,
Army was like, well,
yeah,
he's like, we'll
easy.
get your gun back.
Yeah,
well, I mean, it's like he rolls up and he goes, "Oh, you're gonna have to stand in line while people shoot at each other. Shit, that's gonna do the work for me."
mm-hmm. Right.
But I mean, it's a remarkable story, true and cinematic. But when you remove the microscope, this freak shit's been happening throughout mankind, man. Like, there's it just goes to show you that there's those freak accidents that go down.
Yeah.
Because in all circumstances, like most people don't survive a bear attack,
Mm-mm.
No. And
and in the
then,
event, and to survive a bear attack that's as vicious as his was, because I feel like whether the movie made it, dolled it up obviously for entertainment purposes, but just I mean, there's only so much a bear's gonna do in its attack mode, and all of it's fucking awful.
yeah. And the fact that he survived in 1823, abandoned, attacked by a bear, survived it, crawled back 200 miles to get there, and was like, let's let the maggots do their thing. We're just going to like roll with it as much as we can. And gets back and gets like nursed back into at least
I'm gonna say
decent
the
health.
mileage might be a little bit embellished. Like that's that's a long way to crawl, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd take you
Which, I mean, he might
how
have been
long to
able
walk?
to,
Yeah, I mean, eventually.
yeah.
But when I saw him crawling after it first happened, when he was trying to crawl away when the Indians first got there, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that leg's fucked up because it was bent
Yeah. Yeah.
like sideways. I was like, oh yeah, he ain't walking on that.
Yeah.
But by the time whenever he come out of that hut, he was like, shit, I'm good. I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
what that
Right.
dude put in here, but
Well, as far as the movie though, well, I know this being your first watch, Adam, what'd you think of that sequence with the raid sequence where the Indians hit hit the encampment, and he starts on foot and he's running, and by the end he's on
oh
horseback, and
yeah, he
like
hops on that horse.
classic long shot.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
It
it
Um,
was,
was
na-
good. Well, they
like
rolled
natural
up on him. He was
daylight,
sleeping,
like
and
they
they
were
roll
only
up
able
on him.
to, yeah, they only had a certain amount of time in the days where they could shoot that sequence, I
You
think.
could tell. Y'all mentioned the natural light before,
yeah.
You could definitely tell.
Yeah. it made it so much more surreal. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like it's just sitting there and like with all natural lighting, with the dreary days, with the snow, with everything else that's going, and the way and the fact that like they did it during winter. It's like okay, that's like its own light diffuser,
Mm-hmm.
built-in
I mean,
light diffuser right
well,
there. You know what I mean?
that's also its own behind the scenes special in and of itself. Filming a movie with minimal to no lighting, and just having to go with what the earth gives you.
Yeah, right.
It's how frontiersmen of them, you know.
Yeah,
In my mind, it was a completely different story, though, and I don't know why. Like from the trailer when it came out, just hearing everybody talk about it, I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, he's just a guy in the middle of nowhere alone, and
no,
a bear fucks him or fucks him up." Because everybody was making a joke because it did get behind him like, "Her, her." And
yeah,
I was like, maybe the bear thinks he's choking on something.
yeah,
But it stood on his head,
yeah,
pushed his butt, like, oh
yeah.
man, it
It's
fucked him up.
how good was fucking Tom Hardy?
So good. He's always
Like
good.
he is, but like Jesus Christ, come on, boy.
That dude's got voices.
I
Yeah,
think he's
And
right.
always
he'd do
coming out
that
of
little,
left field with shit.
he'd do that little, yeah, like he'll just, when he's acting,
Yeah,
he really gets into that character, man. Because
yeah,
I'm like, ain't no way that was in the script. He just did it.
yeah,
But every now and then, like, he's got a good Southern accent, dude. Every now and then he'd say something. I was like, oh, he did it right. Like,
yeah,
in a
yeah.
different voice
Yeah,
than the
right.
other ones I've heard him use.
He fucking knocked it out of the park, man. Like, and that's the thing. Like, whenever you talk about the Revenant, I mean, of course, like the bear scene, that's what everybody talks about. But like, there's so many layers. There's so much stuff going on with the revenge story that's happening, the bear attack, him trying to survive, the whole conflict with the
The
Native American tribes. Like,
Indians
there's a
looking for his daughter.
yeah,
Turns
yeah,
out the French got her.
the
Dude,
French
whenever
being
he let her free and he was like, here's the knife, I'm going to get the horse.
yeah,
Have at him. She's
yeah,
like, I'm going to cut your fucking balls off.
yeah, fuck you,
I'm like, why didn't he get her and leave? Like, she could have helped him,
yeah,
you know. If he would have had her, he wouldn't have had to, because right after that's when he had to run.
yeah,
When he was sleeping, it's like, man, she would have been there.
yeah.
But that ain't what happened.
No. And then them fighting with them muskets.
Oh, yeah.
Like, gee, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you, s-
Well,
you, s-
I like
and,
when he refilled it and he put a little bit in his mouth and spit it
yeah,
in there.
yeah,
And I was
well,
like, oh,
after rewatching this though, like the director, like we're always pointing out the long shots that he does and whatnot, but I think ultimately his gimmick is let me just throw as much shit at you and just kind of overload you and then kind of smooth out in the middle for a second and
when he
then
kind of pans
just
around it. How he'll do
yeah.
that pan where it's like, where they're in all those trees.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, shit.
yeah,
When
Well, I
they
mean,
first get
he
attacked, though, like I had no idea he was part of that company. And him and his son's out there killing the moose. And they hear the shots and they go back and then they're being attacked, you know?
yeah,
yeah.
Boy, those Indians was fucking those dudes up.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right.
I mean,
That was really cool.
it's almost like if you want to have the most intense day at work as an extra, go be on one of his films.
Yeah,
Because like your ass isn't gonna just be sitting at a table in a bar, look busy, or flip through these records at this record store scene. It's like, no, man, you're gonna be fighting motherfuckers in the background.
And
yeah.
not as much dialogue as,
No, no.
you know.
Oh yeah, very like it's definitely a very movement based film.
Oh, and the scenery. I love when they do, like Westerns.
Yeah.
Watched a couple. Watched a western last night. Watched one tonight. Tonight it was Nevada Smith, I think, with Steve McQueen. But it was in like '66. But they're out there in like Montana. You know those big mountains.
Yeah. Well, I
That
mean,
scenery's
Tarantino,
cool. Yeah,
yeah, Tarantino did that big time, especially in Django, and it's
yeah.
just,
With that, what was that camera he used?
It's a lot of those
oh
those
yeah,
those,
that 70
those big
millimeter.
Yeah.
wide, yeah, those wide shots,
Well, dude,
man.
those mountains.
Like that Sergio
It,
Leone's shit.
they look like a painting.
Yeah.
Like it don't look real.
Well,
No.
yeah, but also I would argue though, like if you have a good placement and your tripod doesn't suck, you kind of got to force yourself to fuck up a shot like that.
Yeah. I've been around some big mountains like that, dude, and they just when you look at them, it's like, whoa,
It's
Yeah.
very
it's just
beautiful, very
right there, and
breathtaking.
it's like it's so far away, but it doesn't look like it's that far away because it's so big.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost like it's a piece of cardboard being held up, and you could just flick it with your finger, and it's gonna fall over. In a Monty Python esque way of
Yeah.
explaining it, you know.
He's a phenomenal filmmaker, and like he come off of Birdman with this, you know what I mean? And like I I didn't know anything about the story, you know. After watching Birdman, I'm like, I'm down for whatever this dude's doing, you know. Um, and then you find, you know, Leo's in it, Tom Hardy's in it. It's also got the dude that played Adam Warlock. You know, it's
Mm-hmm.
the guy from Star Wars and Ex Machina's in it. Like it had a phenomenal
It's
cast, you
got the
know.
dude from Peaky Blinders that plays Arthur Shelby. He's the one. Whenever the captain comes in there and asks where he's at, and he puts that gun behind him, he's watching. He's like, "Hold on now, Captain. You know,
Oh yeah,
hold on
okay.
now, sweetheart. You know."
Well, like I mean, the guy is more or less like he's almost the new Aronofsky, where
Yeah,
you see like when you're watching his films, like you're seeing the events play out, but since it's such a complex narrative, you're like it's good about putting you in the head. He's good at getting you in the headspace of the film. The
yeah.
same
Oh
way
yeah,
Aronofsky. Like when you walk away from either filmmaker's films for a couple hours, you're probably going to be in a mood.
yeah. Right.
Like 7 out of 10 on that, you know.
Yeah,
And I mean, it's good shit.
it is. It is, man. Yeah, it's took like a story of a dude, you know, that you know, got attacked by a bear in the middle of nowhere. And of course, you know, it was based off that book, and like I said, I've got the book and I've read some of it, and just like the way that he made something so beautiful out of it. You know what I mean? Like it's a
Yeah,
revenge story and all this, and you've got all this like, you know, world political, you know, at that time political things that was kind of happening, this, that, and the other. But just like those moments of like him just completely at odds with everything
yeah.
and just surviving because of just his perseverance, you know, like it is just, I don't know.
Well, I mean, and also, I mean, to add on a production level, because I mean, yeah, I mean, all that narrative stuff, yeah, that's good, and that's there, and it's what makes the movie for sure. But his attention to detail and his production team, I think, or his costume department, I think, like to me, they're partly the crown jewel because in all of his films, there's a level of detail to everything. Like
Yeah.
in like in Bardo, whenever it had the shot of them walking through the estate and that war's breaking out.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
all of
that
the
was really
costumes,
cool.
like everything looked fantastic, and even in this shot, like all like it wasn't like the people who were getting the most screen time got the most detail, and everyone in the background just kind of got like kindergarten Indians and cowboy shit, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just I don't know everything. It looked like a lot of attention was put into that, and that was because I mean. when I was watching it this go around, I wasn't paying attention really to Leonardo DiCaprio. I was looking at like just everything going on behind him, all that kind of shit, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And just it's when you with his films after that initial watch where you're like, all right, I'm on the journey, I'm finding out what the fuck's going on. When you do the rewatch for his shit, you're like, all right, I can take in all this other shit I wasn't really focused on. I mean, like a typical rewatch, of course, but like particularly with this guy, it's worth it because it's like going back, like you're in a museum, you see all these wonderful paintings, then you go back to some that you really like, and you're like, whoa, I didn't notice this, or whoa, like the level of detail that you like, just little shit like that, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I really like too, man, is it's cool to see like updated movies like this because all you used to get's westerns,
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
this
and they
could have
just
been
pumped them out.
this could have easily been a VHS in the '90s,
Oh, it was
dude.
a straight up western. Even go back, but it just looked better. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
like whenever he did Hateful Eight, Django. It's like okay, yeah, 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 because it's been a
It,
while.
wasn't Hateful Eight part of the competition the year this movie came out?
That would have
I
been
feel like they were
2015. Yeah, I think so.
I feel
Yeah.
like they were around this at least within a year or two of
I think
themselves.
they came out the same year. Let me make sure.
Hateful Eight came out in 20. Yeah, they both came out in 2015.
Yeah, it was a Hateful Eight, not Django. That was 2012.
And they both came
Because
out around Christmas, I think.
Yep.
well, it was like, do you want complete serious Western or do you want serious Western written by Tarantino?
hmm
Yeah.
More dialogue.
Yeah, a lot of
That's
talking.
yeah.
We're gonna be in this room for a while, guys. Pull up a chair.
Well, dude, I could have said those scenes where they're sitting around and Hardy's fucking,
Yeah. Spinning the
bitching.
yarn.
Just,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you
Hell,
owe me for these pelts.
Well, it's
that
like it's those shots and dialogue moments where there isn't a lot of talking, but it's just the atmosphere, and it's almost like you could pull up a stump and sit there and start whittling with them, or just listening to them.
yeah. Well, here's one thing that I did really enjoy about the flick. I do like the way that the director and the writers handled the subject matter between the frontiersmen and the Native Americans. There wasn't like a strict bias as to like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You saw the horrors from both sides. And because seeing the horrors from both sides, they present it to you as like, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind kind of situation. It's like, you know, get understand both sides of it, and you may lean more towards one side or the other, of course, but like the way that the director and the writer chose to kind of flirt that line of like, we're going to show you how fucked up both sides of this was, and we're going to let you determine, your thoughts on, you know, all the information that we're giving you.
Well, there's also, I mean, we're not short on on stories, particularly where they take that objective standpoint
Hmm.
and like you're saying, they leave it up to the audience member to be like, all right, here's what happened.
Yeah,
What do you agree with? Where do you align? Like, choose
yeah,
your own adventure. That's that, yeah.
yeah,
And I think he did a great job with that too, for sure.
yeah. I mean, because like at the end of the day, like it was interesting to see both sides and both perspectives of it. And then also like how Hugh Glass, the character, is trying to navigate this world where he doesn't necessarily agree with how the Native Americans are being treated, but he also realizes that he's not a part of the Native American tribes, and he'll never be you know what I mean? So he's like, he's riding this line as well, where he's just like, I want to be a good person regardless of who you are, and do what's right. And it was well done. I was really going back and
well,
rewatching this in today's world. It's like they did it right.
I mean, it came out in 2015, so at that point, the idea of giving just the blank slate view of stuff has already, was already in the works.
Yeah.
And what's the best way to put it? Like, I'm going to use the buzzwords because it's the only ones I know. I don't have a more eloquent way to put it. But going on what you're saying about the Native Americans, it's a level of racism, but without the layer of supremacy. It's not a viewpoint of one is better than the
No, it's
other.
just they're
It's
just
just,
different.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're not me, you'll never
Yeah.
be me. I'm not you, I'll never be
Well, they
you. And
would if
because
they ran into
those
the
different
French, they's gonna have problems. I mean,
yeah, and so
Yeah.
those differences that will slip through the cracks regardless of how kumbaya the world is, like movies like this that show that cultural distinction.
Yeah.
um I mean, the world's better for getting this kind of view of something like that. It shouldn't be just, all right, well, we're watching the Native Americans, so all the white people, settlers, the white man go down. Or watching a movie where you have the settlers show up and it's like, oh, it's the bloody savages. Like, instead of doing those, because I know that, I mean, there's room in the world for those movies, clearly, depending on who your MC is. But these type of films that do that type of gray area where you get to just see it all. I don't know. I felt like it just added to making it a much more accessible film.
yeah,
Yeah.
Because, I mean, let's face it, a lot of people probably saw the cover of the movie and was like, "All right, we got a white Leonardo DiCaprio
yeah.
playing a frontiersman." Not watching. I mean, but
Well, and
if
the
you can get,
directors of Ford compare. He's not an
yeah,
American, so it's
Yeah.
yeah,
nice to
and I
see
mean,
somebody come in like that does that. Like he gets the whole. In that other
Yeah.
yeah.
movie, he did the thing where they were coming to Mexico.
Yeah.
Well, it's like he's a filmmaker first and a social commentator second.
Yeah.
And and I mean, in hindsight, from 2023, that's very respectable.
Yeah. Absolutely. I agree 100%. It's just, and it's because of things like that that's going to make this film compared to some of the other things that are being released in the last
Well,
couple of years. It's going to have more relevancy moving forward. It's going to be
well,
a timeless.
well. I mean, and keeping on par with the filmmaker though, and calling back to Bardo. It's not like he is just not going to weigh in some sort of thing. But the way he approached it in Bardo was very well done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like whenever it's showing the platoon of soldiers, the kids that died, they did the final stand thing, and they're sitting there talking to one another, and dude looks over at him and he goes, "Yeah, right. Figure Mexico to take a failure and turn it into a victory."
Yeah.
Like just little off the cuff shit like that. Or whenever he's talking to dude on that pile of corpses, like there's I guess I'm not walking back my statement at all, but I guess to add to it, he does make his little points of like, message, but it's
Yeah.
not in that forceful way. It's to it enhances the movie. It doesn't layer to the movie.
Yeah. But yeah, I very much enjoyed this movie, man. And I mean, it's, I could put it on at any point and watch it and never get tired of it, you know? And it's, for it to come out at the time that it did, we're halfway through the MCU. We've got a couple of, we've got some Star Wars stuff going on. We've got, all this other stuff. For it to come out at that point in time and be as well made as it was and to be as timeless as it's going to be moving forward was just, I don't know, it's just great. He did a fantastic job. Everybody involved. And what's funny is like, Leo in this movie was married to a Native American, or they were in a relationship, whatever. They had a kid, and that new Scorsese movie,
Yeah.
he's married to a Native American lady, and
Mm-hmm.
it has to deal with the Native Americans and oil and all that kind of stuff. So it's, you know, it's interesting that he, 7 or 8 years later, he's going back to it, so
Well, if this movie had came out 20 years before the advent, if it came out in 95 instead of 2015, I would probably argue that this movie would just kind of, it wouldn't fade into obscurity because it's got DiCaprio in the front and center. But I would see it achieve some sort of cult status amongst like the survivalist movies, you know?
right.
Not because it's bad or anything, but just because like if you took the kind of movies we're getting now and you were to put it out there, because I mean, the digital age, like yeah, like these, movies that came out a long fucking time ago really don't seem that long ago now, just because of the ease of access to them.
Yeah.
Whereas like back in the early, back in the 90s and early 2000s, it was like, oh, you want to watch this movie? All right, good luck finding a video store that's got it.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know, they
dude.
had it maybe the first couple of years, and then they slowly bargain bin their movies down to where they have one or two copies on the shelf, and then they,
Yeah.
just all of that, dude. So many good movies have had, where the movie store had that extension of that longevity for a movie's release. It was also just a slow walk to its death, or to
Well,
obscurity anyway.
yeah. I mean, Wolf of Wall Street was released 10 years ago. Like, let that sink in for a second. It came out in 2013.
Well, after he did
That's
the Revenant, of course, he was in Little Dicky's music video. What his voice was, but it was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
yeah,
He took a little break there.
yeah,
Um, I think he's picky.
yeah. I think so.
He's going to be in another survival movie. Um, they've already him and Scorsese's already lined up the next one.
Yeah,
I wonder,
I got that article. I dropped
Hell
it in for
yeah,
the movie news.
I
Yeah,
wonder why DiCaprio like steers clear from sci-fi.
he's also going to play
Because I because
Rosebud.
don't look up doesn't count.
no, definitely not.
But like
Um,
because he always he's dug into that drama.
well, he
And I mean,
likes to do he likes to do drama or psychological.
Inception has sci-fi as his tag.
yeah, that's true. But I mean,
I
he
don't
still
really
doesn't
think
do any.
sci-fi when I,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but it it is, but I don't really.
Well, it's like I don't consider Tenet a sci-fi movie, and it's about time travel.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like it's like a James Bond movie with a
I
Nolan
guess
budget.
I guess more specifically, why does like you've never seen DiCaprio on a spaceship?
no. You see him standing next to Daniel Day Lewis.
Well, he's got a plane.
Well,
I'm just playing.
He does have a
I'm just
plane and a yacht.
playing. Yeah, I'm
Mr.
just
Climate
fucking.
Change over here.
Yeah.
I mean, like for instance, what if DiCaprio had did Interstellar instead of McConaughey?
I think it. I mean, I would have loved it either
Shit, he
way.
probably turned it down.
Yeah. To be fair,
They hit
yeah.
him up.
It's like, Leo, come
He's like,
here.
I just don't
Well,
understand.
it's almost
Bookshelf?
like he's got to have a role where there's some book he can go read about it,
Yeah.
He
Right.
definitely does his homework.
Yeah.
and and I mean, and meaning is well, no, like there's a history book on it, I guess specifically.
Well, I mean, Killers of the Flower Moon was based off of. I mean, of course, based on true events, but there was a novel that's what Scorsese is adapting.
Hmm.
This Wolf of Wall Street was a novel, written by
Yeah,
Jordan, whatever his last name is, Jordan. Um, but I mean, you do have those random ones in there, Inception, things like that, where it's just like Shutter Island was based off of a book.
I
So
mean, and I mean, I guess where I'm getting at is that he's got range, but he's almost still boxed in a way.
Well, he likes to do those Oscar picks.
Yeah.
That's what he likes.
But I mean, he's still attached as a producer for Akira, so I don't know.
I give him 10 points on the teeth because at one point you get a close up of it and it's like, damn, that bottom grill is fucked up. That's something I always notice in movies like this or westerns or stuff. I'm like, his teeth are way too nice to be,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. I'm giving it a full star.
Full star, man. I mean, what's the hate?
Yep.
I
Yep, full
loved it.
star.
Would watch more, you know? So Ahsoka. I watched Ahsoka. Did y'all get to
Mm-hmm.
pick Ahsoka up? Enjoyed it. Like I've watched a little bit of like Clone Wars, things like that, but never sit back, watch the entire series, any of that kind of stuff. Um, so not really knowing a whole lot. Like, of course we've seen her in Mandalorian and things like
Mm-hmm.
that, but not really knowing the character as much as like a lot of people know the character. Still really enjoy it. Like her performance. Love the other people that are involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
I like I like Favreau's approach, or not Favreau, but Filoni's approach to how he's handling the characters. Um, and this is one thing that I did kind of pick up on everything. It's like all the villain, all of the main characters are all female, except for
The one guy that died.
yeah, the
Yeah.
one yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
this feeds into like what we've talked about before, where it's like it makes sense, right? And everybody's doing such a great job, it doesn't feel forced, that you can melt into the immersion of the story. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And it's just Filoni is he, he's done it so well, which he's had years to play with these characters, right? Because all these characters come from Clone Wars or Rebels or whatever, right? So it's like
Yeah.
he's built those stories over time. He's built these relationships over time, and the way that, even though I haven't watched any of that stuff, sitting down to watch this, you can see those relationships, those pre-existing relationships are there. And you can see that there's been some weird struggles and things that's happened with these characters. Nothing feels forced, nothing feels really out of place. It feels like it's done correctly. And that's what I wish that like Hollywood as a whole and just anybody that's working on projects whenever they get everything back up and running again is like, I want it to feel natural. I don't want it to feel forced. And this doesn't feel forced to me.
No.
And maybe I'm by myself over here. I mean, Trav, you watch Rebels and Clone Wars. What do you think about it?
I liked it. I didn't have a problem with it.
I
I
really like
mean,
that. I,
I know y'all probably saw the criticisms about like Rosario Dawson's acting,
No, I didn't see nothing.
but I think that's just splitting
That's just the
hairs. I
internet.
don't. Yeah, that's just people wanting to be mad about something.
You know who doesn't
well,
get enough credit? I
who?
believe it was in the second episode. The chick, the green chick,
Oh yeah,
her droid.
yeah.
No, her droid,
Oh
dude. It was
yeah.
like, he was almost like you could almost understand him.
Yeah, and
He was
he's
like,
like, "Did you
"What?
mess
Where
with
is
my
it? Yeah,
stuff?" Yeah,
I didn't move
yeah,
it. It's under the battery." He looked. He went, "Oh." Like
yeah,
he was like banging on the thing when they were shooting at it. I liked his attitude. Like
yeah.
I was like, "All right, he's cool."
This is one thing, and Trav, I hope that you're picking up what I'm throwing down here. Whenever she shows up to that temple in that first episode, drops down there, does the little puzzle, the Zelda music plays, she gets the orb.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then she comes out of it, and that robot is walking up. The way, I don't know how they do it, but the way that they make the droids and robots, like especially those, move in their live action series makes me want a Samurai Jack live action series so fucking bad. Because that's how the robots and stuff moved in Samurai Jack. And it makes me want that so bad, you know?
I've learned to hold my breath on animated adaptations, man.
I
But I
know.
see what you're saying. But yeah,
It's I love the way that they like, he had the cloak on and the wind was blowing and it was just so like it was borderline anime, but reminded me more it leaned more to the Samurai Jack aesthetic than
oh,
it did
I
to
would,
anime.
I would, I would argue, and I've talked about this with friends before. I would argue that Star Wars is the closest to Western anime as it's going to get
Yeah, I could see that.
as far as long form storytelling, narrative, all that stuff. But yeah, man, I liked it.
I'm interested to see where it goes. And dude, it sucks that that guy passed because Ray Stevenson's his name, right?
Yeah,
And he's that guy.
he
That
was the most interesting character in the show.
yeah. And like, when he shows up in anything, it's just like, "Oh, this dude's here." You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like, look, the later seasons of Dexter were what they were, but he was the highlight of that season of Dexter. You know what I mean? Him
Yeah,
just like Rochambeauing around, showing up to the police station. You got nothing on me. Like it. Sad day, that dude passed, but he is killing it. I love the way he looks. I even like his apprentice too. Like, what's
Yeah.
she about?
Big
You
eyes.
know,
well, I
yeah.
liked I like that there seems to be more to what they're doing rather than just like, of course it's some sort of city level bullshit where they're going to try to amass a bunch of power, of course. But the way that they had, like, whenever he was given the kill order from the Night Sister to kill Ahsoka, and he was
Yeah,
like, "That's a shame. There's not
yeah,
many of us left." Like that level of respect, and like,
yeah.
he realizes that like Force users are few and far between, and that's I don't know. That was just a little, that line was like, okay, like he's got that warrior's respect thing going
Right.
on for him, and I dig that.
Well, and not only that, but also like, this is taking place between um s- uh Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens, right?
Yeah,
So it's like you have the two most powerful Force users in the galaxy, in the entire fucking everything that exists are dead. And it's like it's interesting to see the perspective from someone that's like, well, if the Jedi doesn't exist, then the Sith technically doesn't exist by extension. So we're just people with with these powers and this code. It's like it doesn't mean anything because there's not an order there. There's not a Sith order.
yeah.
There's not a Jedi order. There's nothing. And it's
Well, there's a
interesting.
like the line whenever him and his apprentice show up, and they're all like, blah 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 blah. Then he dons the saber, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm no Jedi," and he kills that guy.
Yeah.
Well, that is a mirror reflection of a scene, I think in Clone Wars, where because the whole thing about Ahsoka is the key thing you got to know about her as far as outside of what y'all have seen live action based. Anakin was training her
Hmm.
before he became Vader. Bunch of shit goes down, and Ahsoka is like, she's one of the first Jedi to see the hubris and was
Yeah.
like, "Fuck this, I'm out."
Yeah.
And there's like a moment where, just like any other story where someone's like, "All right, I'm gonna put the sword down, fucking go be a factory worker," or some shit like that. She kind of has a similar plot
Yeah.
thread.
Right.
And got to go get the sword out, let's fucking do this shit again. And she says that, she goes, "I'm no Jedi," so it reflects an earlier thing she did. So it's a callback to the Clone Wars in a way, I think.
Right.
But to add to what you're saying is that they're like no one's looking at it as like as far as the galaxy is concerned, there are no Jedi, there's no Sith, there's just the Jedi, and it's Luke.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
He's the,
Yeah.
I mean, he's the only one that's known galaxy wide at this point because he's the only one that, you know, killed the
Survive.
Emperor and
Yeah.
Vader,
Yeah.
which we know the whole, without delving into the same old song and dance we all know about Luke and Vader.
Yeah. I've been enjoying it though. I mean, it looks great, and I didn't really have any issues with like her acting or anything like that. I mean, she just kind of was doing the same thing that she was doing in the other stuff. Like, so
Well, it's a whole lot of I'm thinking, and I'm not gonna let you know what I'm thinking till the scene
y-
needs for me to explain it. You know,
yeah, right.
like, and I mean, all protagonists go by that thread to a degree most of the time. Hell, I mean that was part of the charm of the fucking Mandalorian.
Yeah, right.
So
Yeah.
people got upset with her for acting,
Yes.
Yes,
pretty much. I mean,
yeah.
because
Now,
when it's animated, there is no. I mean, they just do that with their.
now I get it that they made a point to show from multiple fucking angles that vitals were missed. But
Mm-hmm.
Sabine getting stabbed by a lightsaber and living through it, at first I was like, anytime I see that, most of the time they dead.
Yeah. Yeah, that
No,
was
Uh,
kind of yeah.
yeah,
well, didn't they put
well,
what's his name in one? What's his name? Boba Fett. Remember?
yeah.
They kept
Well,
Oh
putting
no.
she's yeah, and she's from Rebels, I believe, and so
Well,
I
she's
knew
definitely gonna
whenever.
be the tie of the Mandalorian, right? At some
Yeah,
point.
so when
Yeah.
because she is Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Um, so whenever she got stabbed, just kind of knowing a little bit on her history and stuff, when that happened, I was like, April Fools. Like,
Right.
but I mean, her, like, and I never understood this about Star Wars, because the same thing happens in Mandalorian. Like, all of our main characters stay so fucking far away from the city. Like
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right.
there's never a sequence where like they go into their apartment in the middle of a bustling, you know,
Yeah.
back can city or whatever. Like, no, she's gonna get on this hover bike and like have to drive really, really fast to cover a long
They
distance.
want to see
Yeah.
if when somebody's coming,
Yeah.
because you can
Well,
see
I
Yeah.
for
mean,
a long way in every direction. It's like,
well, like I almost like by the end of the second episode, I started calling the show instead of Ahsoka, I started calling it Ahsoka
mm-hmm.
because there's so much ass shots in this
Oh
show
yeah,
Oh yeah,
that
yeah.
it's like, I
Mhm.
mean, I mean, as a dude, I wasn't even looking for this, but it came to me,
I
and it
mean,
was
yeah.
like,
Your eyes just kind of, there it
It
is.
came to
I
me.
mean, thanks Filoni, I
Yeah,
guess, but like,
yeah. It
I
looks
mean,
nice
that's
in those
what
pants.
I mean, if it's gonna be eight, it's gonna be 8 hours of like. Well, I mean, remember, always keep in mind in Attack of the Clones, all that skimpy ass shit that fucking Natalie Portman was wearing.
Yeah,
George
Yeah.
Lucas had to approve it.
yeah. He was like, "Can you make it
So,
smaller?"
I
Yeah.
mean,
They're
I mean,
like, "Sir, she's 17."
it's the most
Uh,
uncancelable property out there. So it's like the dude's like, I have an ass
I
fetish.
think it
What can
all
I
goes back
say?
to Princess Leia
Yeah.
and the princess costume. Anybody that grew up,
The slave
Slave.
like
layer.
roll the skimp out. Yeah,
Oh no!
Yeah.
Or man, the bed sheets almost little better.
I'm down with whatever when it comes to that. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
So we can't
Well,
leave out the space cats, right?
dude,
I
man,
called it.
Is this new?
I was calling it. I was calling it this.
It's a spat.
The. No, I was calling it kitty chicken.
It does kind of.
it's,
Had the feet of a chicken, man.
So we haven't seen these in any other thing else, right? Like
I don't fucking
it's a
recall.
new. It was
mean,
kind of cool.
unless
The
it,
way that it was acting, though, it was hissing. I was like, yeah, that's a.
I mean, I want to evolve it and see what its final
So she's a
form
cat
is in
lady.
Pokemon.
Makes sense.
Yeah. She's like, oh, I miss Ezra. I
Hmm.
miss him so bad.
That thing's over there like cooing.
And then they're like, oh, yeah. You know the ending to Rebels? Yeah, we're just going to tell you that, like, yeah, he didn't die. He didn't die. He just went home.
Wrong
See this
guy.
galaxy over here, y'all?
Hmm.
Your boy's there. Because that's what I was thinking. Is I'm like, yeah, it's going to be a case of Thrawn and him had their big, like, they basically reenacted the ending to Quantum Mania, where Paul Rudd's like, I don't have to win, you just have to lose. And they did that on Thrawn's ship. They get sucked through a black hole, they're spat out in another galaxy, and it's like, okay,
I like
time
the
to learn
whole
war.
the witch thing too. Is kind of cool. How they put that
Yeah,
in.
the Knot sisters,
Yeah.
that's a pretty cool little deep dive, because the Knot sisters ultimately, and I don't know if y'all have heard this outside of the pod or not. The Knot sisters are a direct link to Darth Maul. Whenever Darth Maul's brother works for the Knot sisters, there's a point where they go looking for him, and he finds Maul, and it's after he's obviously been severed by Obi-Wan, and they find him in this like decrepit fucking cave. And the coolest thing about what Maul did was his hatred of Obi-Wan was so strong, and his connection to the Force was so strong, or to the dark side it is. Um, he assembled like these almost spider leg looking thing for his lower half of his body, and he held it together by the Force just for fucking years in that cave, straight up living like Gollum, basically. And having to constantly be using the Force like that over and over and over and over and over, it drove him fucking crazy to a degree. So whenever the Knot sisters and his brother Savage roll up on him, he's fucking cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs in this fucking cave, and they're like the brother even looks at the Knot sisters and is like, fuck, dude, what do we do?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, but I mean, that's in a nutshell, like that's part of their overall connection. I mean, there's more to it, but as far as relevant information that y'all would be like, oh, okay, worth knowing.
I've been enjoying it. I'm kind of excited for the next episode.
Yeah. See where it goes.
Yeah. I don't know. They've done the Star Wars shows so well. Even the ones that take a little bit to get started, like Andor.
Mm-hmm. On program.
Yeah, they've done a great job at like filling the stories out,
That was
giving
it
you
too.
in.
By the time you get to Andy Circus, you're on program with the show. It's like, okay,
Hmm.
I'm in.
He's just reinforcing that idea.
Yeah.
Keep your heads forward and your mouth shut. They just killed everyone on floor B2. Shut your mouth on
Yeah. You
program.
know nothing on program.
We got an inmate that rolled a crit. We've got to get out of here.
On
On
program.
program. We got a little bit of movie news here. So, Friday the 13th franchise heads to Max in time for Halloween. So, Max is kicking off the spooky season with numerous horror editions. Jason Voorhees fans can rejoice as most of the Friday the 13th franchise is included in the list of Max's fall and arrivals. 8 of the original 10 films will arrive at the streaming platform, joining Jason Goes to Hell, which has already been available on Max. The first 8 franchise films, Friday the 13th, Friday the 13th 2, Part 3, Final Chapter, A New Beginning, Part 6, Jason Lives, Part 7, The New Blood, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, will be available this Friday, September the 1st, meaning will be available. They will be available in time for Friday the 13th Halloween Marathon. Should you enjoy the film franchise in its entirety, you'll have to venture out of Max for the last three films. Jason X is available to rent, along with the crossover film Freddy vs. Jason and the 2009 reboot Friday the 13th. Um, the reason I bring this up is because, like, other than Jason Goes to Hell, I don't think these have been on streaming at all because of the whole rights issue that they were having with Friday the 13th for a long time. So it makes me interested to see if, like, are they going to try to, is this a telling sign that they're going to try to do another Friday the 13th movie soon? And I
I
could
hope not.
I mean, I wouldn't be mad at it. I
It
mean, it's just,
depends, yeah.
I mean,
Someone's gonna come
Hellraiser.
along and make a banger, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like that Hellraiser movie, the Predator one.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm
like
not
here's
as
the thing: either
optimistic
it's
as I used
good
to be, man.
or it's not. And if it's not, you just throw it on the pile with the rest of it ain't. Like, well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they tried.
I mean, a lot of people felt the same way about Halloween, 2018 Halloween. And I'm at that same point as well. It's like if somebody comes along and they make it, I'll peep it, see what I think about it. We'll do a pod about it, and then either it'll go on the pile with part 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like it'll go on the pile with the rest of them. Or it might be something that I'm like, hey, like let's watch this new Jason movie. So yeah, it's gonna happen at some point. Just like Nightmare on Elm Street, we'll get another one of those. I'd say within the next 5 to 10 years. Same with this. So hopefully the rights issues are all fully worked out and they're able to at least do something. Because I know that they were working on a Friday the 13th series again. There was a movie in the works and all
Well,
that kind of got shut down. So
I would argue that if they're gonna remake any of those or try to reboot any of the classic slashers again, I think they should take the same route that they took with Predator. It needs to be just more or less. I mean, with obviously like movie channels and stuff, clearly we'll be in the know of a film's production, of course. But overall, like it just comes out, it's a completely different take. Like there's been enough time and enough separation between what was and everything that like it'll be able to subvert expectations.
That's what I'm saying. I
right,
was pleasantly surprised with the
Yeah, because
Predator movie. So
Prey was great.
yeah,
yeah.
so somebody might come along and fucking just kill it.
So my question is like if someone approached you and was like, "Hey, we're thinking about doing another Friday the 13th movie,"
Hmm.
do you think that it would make more sense to try to reboot the franchise, or do you think it would make more sense to try to do a legacy sequel?
I say a complete retelling. Call it Crystal Lake. Tell the
Mm,
story of Jason with different characters. Keep some of the similar beats there. Don't redo iconic shots and scenes, but pay homage
Yeah.
and make the story worth a fuck. Why do I give a shit about these people dying at a fucking camp?
now, if you were to do that, Trav, would you combine one and two and try to tell both those stories in one film?
I would tell up to the point where you realize that like it's going to become like almost to borrow from Halloween, it's going to become a generational trauma. Like just because the immediate people that create the legacy of Jason Voorhees um happens, I would end it in a way to where it was like, oh fuck, they're dead, but it ain't over,
Right.
Maybe that's too safe,
Yeah. Well,
but
and
I feel like for slasher films, safe is smart.
yeah. Another question. What was y'all's thoughts on the 2009 remake?
Boring
I don't even remember it.
because it
I
was
went to the
boring.
movies. I didn't hate it.
I got to look it up to see some who was in it. Oh, it's free on Tubi.
Yeah. I didn't hate it. I went to the movies and watched it. I bought it on Blu-ray. It was cheap. Um,
Yeah.
and I like their approach to it because there was some really cool behind the scenes stuff and interviews on the DVD with the director where it's like whenever they were doing Friday the 13th, they had to really decide if they wanted Jason to be like this supernatural entity or if they wanted him to be more grounded in reality and kind of this force of nature, kind of like what Michael Myers is. And they went with like a force of nature thing. So, they put all those tunnels and stuff
Yeah.
as his means of like traveling around. And it's just interesting that they took the time to kind of think through that is like, okay, how are we going to present it? Because it was going to be multiple films and it just
Well,
didn't.
I would think a better option would have been to leave the viewer to decide whether he was supernatural or a force.
Yeah,
Like leave
right.
something for the viewer to chew on, man. Like films keep there's certain stories where yes, you need to explain everything because what happens in movie A is going to affect what things can be done in movie Z.
Yeah,
Like define your universe, fine, whatever.
yeah,
But like with the horror genre, like yeah, you want to have exposition. You're there for the blood and the action and the gore and the frights and shit. Yeah, sure. But you want to be able to have if it's something in like the slasher genre, being able to leave something open to interpretation is like okay, when did the killer of Jason's mom and subsequently Jason end, and where does the supernatural aspect begin? Like have like a moment where you could debate like this is when it happened, but just let that be something that the audience can chew on because it's going to make the movie have a way longer lifespan.
yeah, yeah. So I'm interested to see what happens. And that's why I dropped this in here more or less is because maybe they're getting everything straightened out and we may end up seeing a Jason movie sooner rather than later. Um and I'm interested to see what they decide to do with it moving forward. So next up here, Martin Scorsese and Leo to reunite for Shipwreck movie The Wager will be their next project. So following the release of this year's Killers of the Flower Moon, seminal director Martin Scorsese once again unite with Hollywood superstar Leonardo DiCaprio for The Wager. Author David Gran has confirmed. Gran, who is the writer behind the nonfiction book on which the movie will be based, The Wager, a tale of shipwreck, mutiny, and murder, has revealed that The Wager will in fact be Scorsese and DiCaprio's next project, which is surely reason for cinema lovers to be excited. News of The Wager first emerged last year, but Grant has now confirmed while speaking with the French outlet Telerama that Scorsese and DiCaprio will reunite for the project and that the pair will begin work on the shipwreck tale after Killers of the Flower Moon, making their seventh feature film collaboration. Set in 1740s, Wager's story is set in motion when a patched together boat with 30 ema- emaciated men landed on the coast of Brazil. The official synopsis for David Grann's book, The Wager, A Tale of Shipwreck, Mutiny, and Murder reads: The men were the surviving crew of British ship that was chasing a Spanish vessel and had crashed onto an island in South America's Patagonia region. Their tales of surviving the seas and elements made them heroes. However, 6 months later, another vessel, even more beat up than the first one, ended up on the coast of Chile. This one with three men. These new sailors charged that the other men were actually mutineers. Gran is also the author behind the book Killers of the Flower Moon, the Asage, I can't ever pronounce that word, Asage murders, and the birth of the FBI, on which the upcoming movie is based. His latest, The Wager, has already been a bestseller for several weeks. While further details regarding The Wager remain unknown at present, it is possible that with the plot involving a large group of characters, we could see a stellar supporting cast assembled alongside DiCaprio. Bring Hardy back. You know what I mean? I want to see
Oh
what
yeah,
voice, you know, you got to scrape the poop deck, getting
yeah.
me. You know, like,
So Leo's gonna definitely play the captain. I mean, that's.
yeah,
I
I would
mean,
think so,
yeah.
yeah.
It's you don't hire him and make him fucking first
No,
hand.
no. But I think we talked about this that Scorsese was trying to get the rights to another book that was written by the same guy that did Killers of the Flower Moon.
Mm,
So it's going to be interesting. I mean, they work so well together. I'm excited to watch this Killers of the Flower Moon. So yeah, we get some more Leo, we get some more Scorsese.
yeah,
Hopefully, we get some Hardy action
they
in
got
here.
another one in the works. It's Roosevelt. He's
Sounds
gonna
like
play
you're
Roosevelt.
describing a wrestling pay per view, Griffin.
I mean,
I mean, we got some Hardys coming in. We got some Sazi, dude. Like the tag team titles on the line, man. Like fucking 2 rings, 6 cages, 5 tables, and 3 chairs, dude.
Gotta
It's
go
gonna
through
be a
them all.
bloodbath.
I mean,
Hardcore title on the line. You know.
Like someone's
yeah,
gonna die.
yeah,
On
and then be resurrected.
the third
Um,
day.
so Henry Cavill's Highlander reboot gets a long-awaited update from director.
There
So
can only be
fans,
one update. Oh,
exactly right. So fans of Henry Cavill have had a rough ride in the last year, with the popular star having departed his two much loved roles, Superman and The Witcher's Geralt. While the actor is now set to appear in a Warhammer 40K project for Prime Video, he is also dipping back into the fantasy genre with a reboot of Highlander, which has been very quiet in recent months. In fact, some had started to wonder if it was just going to be another disappointing no show, but thankfully this appears not to be the case. John Wick Helmer Chad Stileski will be directing the new take on the Christopher Lambert led movie franchise, and during a recent interview, he shared a long awaited update on exactly how the project is doing. Although there is probably still going to be quite a wait for the final product to surface, given the ongoing actors and writers' strikes, Stileski told the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast that it is certainly still coming. This is what he had to say about it. I think we have some very good elements now. The trick is when you have the tagline, there can only be one. You can't just kill everybody the first time. I'll say it for you. I'll say it for you. I'll say it for you first. Our story engages a lot of the same characters and stuff like that, but we've also brought in elements of all the TV shows, and we're trying to do a bit of a prequel, a setup to the gathering, so we have room to grow properly. Certainly sounds like Stileski is not just setting his sights on Highlander being a one and done affair, but as we know, plans like that can very quickly slide if the numbers don't add up. However, with Cavill fans hungry for something fill the Witcher size hole that is being left by his departure from the franchise, Highlander could benefit massively from the circumstances.
Witcher size hole, get fucked, man. It's see Superman. But anyway, like, dude, motherfucker plays a lot of games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot. He's a nerd. For crying out loud, when he got the role of Superman, he was too busy playing World of Warcraft. Dude's a millionaire. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. He's clearly doing whatever the fuck he wants. So, as a fan of his acting abilities, I've given up on expecting anything out of him. If it comes out, I'll watch it, but I'm not gonna be like, oh, let's hope. Oh man, he's working on this, he's working on that.
Well,
There's still
it's
people
on
now.
IMDb now. It's
There's still
it's
people
on there.
now that are still like, man, Henry Cavill ought to play James Bond. And it's just like, all
It's in
right, I'll reload.
pre-production.
I'll do the reload with you.
If you go to the guys, dude, the only thing this guy's ever directed is all 4 John Wick movies, right?
Yeah.
Now, of course, he's
But I
doing the
mean,
stunts on the Deadpool 3,
yeah.
but this dude has 11 titles lined up to do.
Yeah.
John Wick made so much money
Yeah.
that they're like, "What do you want to make?" And he's like, "I got
Yeah.
a list right here."
He's like, dude, I've got a playlist of synthwave that I've been dying to put to some scenes. Like,
Hmm.
let's do this. And
That's just wild.
yeah, for sure.
Well, he made
Um,
them I mean, at least $1 billion, right? If not more.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I I would
But it's happening. It's
yeah.
on here. It's got
He's working
cattle
on
listed. You got riders already.
he's working on this is what he's got in the pipeline.
But
Rainbow Six with Michael B. Jordan.
seriously,
Um, Ghost of Tsushima. That's in pre-production right now.
that would be interesting. Any of those wait, never mind. That's not a From Software game.
It's I think it's the closest thing that you can get to a From Software game without it being right.
Yeah. Cuz I mean, honestly, that company needs to have their products turned into a film. Everything from Dark Souls to Elden Ring, just what little bit I've seen of Armored Core 6, like they nail gameplay and like a cinematic feeling
Hmm.
far better than any Western company. By
Yeah.
far.
So the
Dude,
company. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I see what you're saying, dude. Like when you see him, it's Superman.
Yeah.
It is.
I mean,
Yeah.
You said Superman in the sea. It's like, yeah, it's Henry Cavill. I mean, when you look at him, you're like, oh, it's Superman.
yeah, I mean,
I mean, he got really stuck with that one.
and I mean, dude, I
It's
mean,
not a bad
hey,
thing.
if you're gonna be typecast as
Yeah,
anything,
sure.
you're typecast as the
And he's up there,
superhero,
you know?
like the motherfucker, man. Like you're a one man Avengers. like, like the only reason anyone is like teaming up with you is because you're depowered. like you're
Right.
so. I mean, it's a good hero to be typecast as,
Yeah.
and you know I've enjoyed all of his stuff, man.
Yeah.
I remember as far back as like, well, with the exception of Tutors, because it's fucking Tutors, man. But
You don't like the
Immortals.
Tudors?
I mean, it's fucking HBO, dude. It's old shit and
Yeah.
sex. That's what that
I
is.
mean, yeah.
Mhm.
It's Game of Thrones without the dragons
I mean, that's
and
what
the
it's like. Are
magic and
you
shit.
going?
Yeah.
It's
The
like, are you
guy,
going
the
to?
main guy, I can't remember his name, but he did a really good job. Like, good acting.
It's like, are you going to abdicate the throne? No, but you're
It's
gonna
like,
fuck me
oh,
for it.
yeah.
It's like- sex it is, isn't it? But no, Immortals was a good film, and that's the thing though. I'm a sucker for the Greek mythology films. Grew up on the Harryhausen shit, so I mean, I'm kind of a little biased there.
Right.
But yeah,
So the company that made Ghost of Tsushima or whatever, they're the company that made the Sly Cooper series and then the Infamous series. And that,
wow,
yeah. So
how drastic!
so they released the game on the 64 called Rocket Robot on Wheels in 99. Then they released the first Sly Cooper game in 2002 and they did all three of those up until 2005. Then released Infamous in 2009, released all the Infamous games up until 2014, and then in 2020 released Ghost of Tsushima.
The Sly Cooper tutorials always like they still haunt me to this day. Sly, press triangle on the controller to do a blah blah blah. like it was like being narrated by Pee Wee.
Yeah.
Press X to jump, Sly. Press square to do a super sneaky attack.
So talking about Prey here, the Prey director, would love to include Schwarzenegger in the sequel. So Prey director Dan Trachtenberg has declared that there is still time to add Predator star Schwarzenegger or Predator 2 star Danny Glover to whatever Prey sequel may eventually emerge. The director behind the Predator prequel, Smash Hit, was recently asked whether, despite Prey being set in the 1700s, there were ever any conversations about bringing Schwarzenegger back into the fray and whether there is a chance of adding Schwarzenegger in a future movie. I don't know how to do things, but I'm learning how to do things. I did learn that there was an attempt to have Arnold in Predators. All I'll say is there's still time for those guys. They're still around, and wouldn't that be awesome? Speaking with Variety, Trachtenberg admitted that he does not yet know quite how to do things, suggesting that he isn't yet sure how he would go about bringing Schwarzenegger or Glover back for Prey 2. But the filmmaker is learning, meaning that now the idea is in his head. He may well begin to explore how exactly Schwarzenegger's Major Alan Dutch Schaefer could once again face off with the Predator. Schwarzenegger leads the very first Predator, which was released in 1987, but despite several attempts to bring the action movie superstar back into the franchise, he has yet to return. Danny Glover, meanwhile, plays LAPD Lieutenant Mike Harrigan in the 1990s Predator 2, and while his character does not hold the same iconic weight as Schwarzenegger's Dutch, it would no doubt make a crowd pleasing moment to see him in the franchise once again.
Here's how you do it.
Time travel?
Well, not really, but yes. No. It's not. It's not. Hey guys, hop in the box and let's fucking
No,
have
you like
shenanigans with
leave and come
time.
back and it time's
But it's
passed.
space. It's
Yeah.
fucking space. The expanse of space. Have it where these motherfuckers that killed off that predator. Well, fucking mothership shows up and is like, "Nah, you're exquisite. You're coming with us." So like
Ooh, you be the
they're
predator, you know?
like have I mean, and even call back to Predators. Have Adrian Brody, all of them. Like they all get picked, and like they have it to where the Predators are like, here's the evolution of these hunters.
Oh,
Like you have them as from the 1800s, you have the chick from Prey, you know, up to now, and you're
like
like,
they're
this is
building a
their
zoo.
yeah, and
Yeah.
they have to or you know, and it doesn't have to be as on the nose as that, but yeah, you have to where it's different like levels of
Collect the
difficulty that
whole
the
set.
predators. Well, like as the predators are going through these different trials, because I mean, I don't know, there's no myth there, so you could create that myth where it's
Yeah.
like, hey, when predators get to a certain advancement, we send you out, and when we do, you're going to end up at Earth at this point in time because space is fucking space, you know?
Yeah. Earth go hard.
Yeah.
Mm.
I would love a old school version where you got old man Dutch with a cigar, and we just get a good old fashioned "if it bleeds we can kill it" callback.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the only member Barry I'm interested in with Predator.
yeah.
I mean, other than motherfuckers taking that fucking gun, going, "I'm gonna have me some fun. I'm gonna have me some fun."
I mean, they they could do it, but I don't know. I don't even know if like it made sense if there was a way for them to do it if he would even come back.
Oh, probably not. I mean, but I mean, you know, wishful thinking.
I mean, he'd do it if the script was good. If it
I
was a
mean,
cool
only
way, he'd do it.
if he takes zero damage.
I mean,
No, here's how you get Arnold Schwarzenegger to do it. You go, hey man. He's like,
Money.
I'm not interested. I'm not interested in the Predator films. I've already done it.
Mhm.
Been there, done that.
It's
What's
like,
the
yeah, you
next
said the
one?
same thing on
They're
Terminator.
like, oh, well, they sent the same script to Sylvester. He goes, I want
Oh,
the role.
yeah.
I'll take the
Fuck
role
you.
now. Give me the
What do I
role.
say?
mm,
Right here, sir.
You
God,
son of... And he, all it is just like a soundboard, Arnold Schwarzenegger, where they go, Sylvester got a script too, and he goes, you son
Yeah.
of a bitch.
He's like, yeah, little boy's gonna do the movie with you.
Rubber buggy baby bumpers.
well, last up here, Dune director hopes to make a trilogy and adapt Dune Messiah. So there was recent news, and I'm sure it goes into it, that Dune 2 has been pushed back. So after successfully navigating the challenges of a post pandemic world with the first installment of Dune in 2021, director Denis Villeneuve, no, I don't, however, is on track to complete his adaptation of Frank Herbert's seminal science fiction novel. With Dune Part 2 slated for release in 2024, The filmmaker has now expressed his intentions of taking the saga further by adapting the novel Dune Messiah, thus completing what he considers to be his Dune trilogy. Villanuevo's ambitious journey began with the attempt to transform Frank Herbert's intricate novel into two epic films, despite initial reluctance from Warner Brothers to film both parts consecutively. The approval for Dune Part 2 was granted after a successful box office performance of the first movie, albeit with a 6-month delay. The narrative of Dune doesn't end with Paul Atreides' ascendancy, as Herbert penned several sequels that expanded the lore of the desert planet Arrakis and its mysterious sandworms. Brian Herbert, the author's son, continued his father's legacy by contributing additional volumes to the series. Villanueva, enthralled by his expansive universe, aspires to delve deeper into the cosmos by adapting more stories from the Dune saga. In recent
Ooh.
interview, in a right, in a recent interview with Empire, Villanueva expressed his desire to rectify the portrayal of Timothy Chalamet's character Paul Atreides in Dune Messiah. He maintained that the novel's creation was a response to the view of Paul as a hero, a feeling not reciprocated by the author.
Yeah, like
Villanueva's
no, dude, like he's like Dune is not meant to. I mean, I didn't take it as a good ending.
right. Villanueva's adaptation will reflect Herbert's original intention of issuing a warning rather than glorifying Paul. He acknowledged the esoteric nature of the subsequent books, but confirmed that a script for Part 3 is partially written. This is what he explained. If I succeed in making a trilogy, that would be the dream. Dune Messiah was written in reaction to the fact that people perceive Paul Atreides as a hero, which is not what he wanted to do. My adaptation of Dune is closer to his idea that it's actually a warning. I will say there are two words on paper.
Yeah,
So,
because as the Dune story goes on, like Paul is a straight up tyrant. Like you could like it's in that category of characters that, but like you're watching a bad person's origin story in a way.
right.
So
I mean, so and he I don't know if it's still on the table, but he was making Sisters of Dune, I think was that TV series
Yeah,
for HBO
I think we
that he
read
was
that.
yeah. So I'm not sure if that's still going to be happening, but I would love for a trilogy to come out because I know the Dune story. I don't know Dune Messiah, so I would be interested to see.
I would I would like if they're wanting to establish a world or a universe, cinematic universe or something like that. Um, I would like to see them do the Butlerian Jihad because that sets everything in motion. Like that chronicles the first Muad'Dib, like the first person
Boy,
to conquer the sandworms and all that shit.
Right.
you know who's pissed? That motherfucker's probably like, they wouldn't let me split the movie up. You know,
Yeah.
they made me put
Those
Today
everything in one.
bastards.
It's crazy clown
it's a
time.
high of 92 and partly cloudy with a light breeze from the south.
They wouldn't let me explore.
Nah, but
It's like, yeah,
no. So there was a really cool thing about that prequel book though, is that where Dune, like, if you wanted to make a Dune movie on a budget, just go buy you a bag of sand, go by the bait shop, buy you some worms, get you some girl that can hold a note and have her sing in Arabic, and just film it as you're like filming the sand, you're throwing the worms on it, and it's like, that type of shit.
Mm,
But that book though, it kind of jumps back and forth between being on Arrakis and it's like, yeah, where the sand's at, and then it cuts to space where it's like you're you're seeing how an artificial intelligence is ruling all of these inhabited worlds. And I always thought it was cool because it wasn't an omnipotent AI. Like say, like there was a ship that was always in transit to all of the worlds that had this droid on it called Erasmus, and that's the character I'd like to see on screen, because he would go around in this ship updating the AI to the most recent one. He'd go back to the core world, get the biggest update, go to all the other worlds, update their AI. So it would seem like they're all omnipotent, but it's all still secular. They just, big brother's there.
Right.
And Erasmus has a curiosity with humans where, like, I'll put it this way. It goes like in one chapter it went from homeboy getting kicked out of his tribe. He runs into a cave. He sees the sandworms and he's like, I'm gonna ride that bitch. Then it cuts to space. Dude's sitting there like straight up. I think of Michael Fassbender when I think of this character when I was reading it. Like David from Alien.
Yeah.
Because he's sitting in like this computer, he's hit or this or like not computer, but this really like elegantly decked out minimalistic room. You're hearing like old ass fucking music playing, like Beethoven or some shit like that, and he's just sitting there musing over mankind, like emotions, like what is an emotion, blah 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 blah, like a computer dwelling on the human experience. And there's just this, he's got this fucking dude just tied up in that room, and he'll just walk up to it, grab like a splicing knife or whatever, and just cut a chunk of his skin off, and hear him screaming and fucking agony and all that kind of bullshit. And he's just like, that's interesting. Chart a course for this world, computer, blah 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 blah. And they're like, okay, and fucking take off to it. Like he's psychotic, but you're like, it's just he's such a robot, you know.
Yeah.
That was just that was one of the more interesting aspects of that book to me, was just how weird that robot guy is. We'll get to
I'm
where we'll eventually get the Cymex where it's like it's the brain in a jar, but
right.
they're like these big like centipede looking robot guys, you know. And they all fucking suck off ancient Greek mythology. So like, one dude's name's Agamemnon, the other guy's name's fucking like Perseus
Right.
Cletus the Seventh or Maximus fucking, that type of shit.
Yeah. So I'm interested. Like, I'm hoping that Dune 2 does good. I do want to go watch it in theaters. I wish I would have went and watched the first one in theaters, but unfortunately,
COVID.
that yeah, that wasn't in the cards. But I would.
Oh,
I
it's gonna
do.
be back for the next one. Don't worry.
Well, you mean okay?
Yeah.
I was
uh,
like, they're bringing it back
Oh
when they
yeah, they're
released
oh,
bringing
other
it back.
movie.
you don't know, Griffin? It's the 4-year re-release anniversary edition, man. It's gonna be 30 minutes of extra footage you didn't
They're
see in
like,
theaters.
we took the flu and remastered it.
We put it in a
Some
still
special
box.
features.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
that DJ Khaled remix flu.
You might need an iron lung.
And another one.
But that was all the movie news that I saw. I mean, it's everything's kind of dead right now because of the strikes that are happening.
I
So
saw that. I saw this
We
little
knew we'd get
tidbit.
here though.
Jimmy Fallon,
hmm
all the Tonight Show people. I can't remember them all. Colbert. So they're all gonna do a podcast
Huh.
to talk about the
Oh.
writer strike and how things have been. Like now they're going to podcast form. It's like, oh, dude, once they start making money like on that, they'll probably never come back to TV.
no,
Nobody watches that shit.
Oh,
Nobody.
dude, podcasting for a comedian's like heroin. Once they start, they won't stop.
Well, now they can
They
have
won't.
guests on there.
Well,
Dude,
then,
Conan's
dude,
podcast is great.
it's gonna
It's the
turn
best
into
form for him as doing a
look.
show. Fuck the commercials. Fuck 30 minutes.
I
45
know
minutes with commercials. I mean, you get really really as long as you want to go, usually an hour. And they just talk and they can say whatever they want to say. It's off the script.
it's yeah, but
It's the
it's good. But
best.
it sure it's the best, but at the same time, these assholes are gonna try to copy the same formula we've been seeing. Like they're gonna fucking come out, have some
For
sort
sure.
of guest, or do
Oh,
some free form
talk to
conversations.
their
Then it's
host
gonna
or somebody
then it's
else.
gonna turn it. Then it's gonna turn into
Yeah,
like,
they're gonna do
oh,
what
well,
everybody else
listen
has
to this
done.
show where it's just this guy, or listen to this show where it's just this dude, instead of it all being one big thing, and being what it should be, which is a band-aid for the strike at the moment. But they're gonna get that little drip of fucking revenue in. They're gonna be
Oh
like,
yeah, they'll
now
just
we've
take
got the
off.
late night talk show podcast universe.
I mean, they just look at anybody else that does. I mean, dude, most of them probably have some form of thing, but these guys don't. I think it's exclusive. You'll
Right.
hear them on other podcasts, but Conan's
Yeah.
been doing it. He started his podcast way before he got off TV. 10 years ago.
Isn't it like
Yeah.
Conan Needs a Friend?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been seeing shit from the
Oh, he's
algorithm
been
on
blowing
that.
up with it. Well, dude, that show that they're working on is from the podcast. I mean, it's a radio show. It's
I
all
mean,
serious.
dude, Conan O'Brien's parting
Oh.
from broadcast cable is legendary. And like no one ever brings it up. And I know because for a long time it was all that people talked about
Yeah.
outside of like, current events and shit when it was going down. I remember, but that was such a big fucking deal. Like ABC,
The
Fox,
Tonight
whoever,
Show?
or NBC. Yeah, that
Yeah.
fucked him over hard,
Well,
man.
it did, but at the same time, he got another show and he got like $40 million, I think, or something.
But when your
crazy.
dream is to have Johnny
got to do it a
Carson's
year.
show, yeah, a year after like years of
He
like
got
being
paid
like,
though, man.
yeah, oh, of course he got a severance.
And
I mean,
he came out on top because everybody was like, "Fuck Jay Leno."
yeah, right.
That's fucked up, dude. They told him the show will still be the show. You just have to move it back an hour, and he's like, "Well, then it won't be the Tonight Show. It'll be the Tomorrow Show." That was his answer.
Ooh.
No, I don't want to do that. That's the Tomorrow Show. Who's gonna watch that?
People in the future.
Yeah. Everybody's got TiVo to. But dude, he got paid.
Oh yeah.
A lot of
What was
money.
his severance pay? Do you remember?
I think it was around. It had to be like 40 or 50. I mean, it was the contract they promised him, and
I mean, it was enough that he could just buy some mics and start recording people, and he's living just fine.
yeah. Well, he went and did that other show. I mean, that ran
PBS.
a long time.
I'll always
actually just
miss late
ended
late.
not too long ago.
I always miss the late night show with Conan O'Brien, man. Year
Yeah.
2000
loved it.
bits, fucking Triumph the Insult Comic Dog when he was actually funny.
Mm-hmm. Conan was my late night guy.
Yeah,
I fucked with Ferguson and.
Well, dude,
I'd
Ferguson
watch
was
a little
great.
Letterman and them in there, but their comedy style was more,
Well, I like that Conan
those other dudes
O'Brien,
have been on
like,
TV since the 70s.
he had like as far as the musical guest, he had everyone.
Yeah.
Like there was there wasn't a common thread of the same shit. Yes, exactly. And the fact that he allowed them to sing the Heretic Anthem on broadcast cable,
Yeah.
like at the time that it happened, kind of remarkable in hindsight, man.
I still remember the bit they did. They were like, we thought we booked Slipknot, but here's Slapnuts or something. It was something like that, falling on your nuts, fall nuts. It was something. They had these dudes that came out and sang. Anyway,
I mean, essentially anyone
funny.
anyone that the younger generations has played a fucking Guitar Hero or a rock band song to, Conan O'Brien had him on there, and that's cool, man. That's cool that he was very open to all of that shit. It wasn't the same indie rock or R&B person every fucking week. Or a rapper that couldn't even say half his fucking lyrics because he's on live TV,
Oh shit! You backed it
in 2021. So, fun fact here. I just saw this trailer here you dropped, Trev. My name's going to be in the credits. If you look in movie news there, I gave him $5 when he was trying to hawk it on. I was like, I'll put $5 in your mouth,
Hey, I've already seen the trailer. I don't know if y'all have.
I got
money
a
well
notification
spent.
that it was coming, that it was, because I get them on there.
Yeah.
I get emails all the time. Here's an update video. And I'm like, just put my name in the credits like you promised,
Yeah, money well spent, man. Like he budgeted himself. The movie looks really well. The movie looks well made for being just him and a handful of people throwing
Yeah.
it together.
Well, he had $500,000.
I mean, well, you know,
600,000.
a lot of times people will make that kind of money and you
Yeah.
won't see it in the product, you know. Um, I mean, it's a comedy.
Yeah.
I saw it, and
Well,
you
this is
know, I mean,
Masha. I don't know.
I love the fucking character that he made for this movie. Like it's the guy from all the YouTube
Yeah.
videos, you know, Tim Arby's boys, you know.
Yeah.
But
Let's watch it.
yeah, I think it'll be a fun romp, man.
All right. 3, 2, 1, play.
Mm.
Oh, man, this dude's just fucking. Hmm.
Yeah, Abaddon.
I mean, we got podlocked on this, right?
Yeah. Wow.
The patty slinger? Hmm. I'll tell you what happened, man. One night I was on YouTube and he was live streaming, and I saw it and clicked on it. And he was on there begging because it was about to run out, the Kickstarter, and he's like, "If we don't hit this fucking 500,000, I'm not gonna get it," you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, "I'll fucking throw him $5," and he ended up pulling quite a bit. That's cool.
Yeah, I kind of want to peep that. I like that character. I've always enjoyed his videos. So, yeah, this is something that I'm excited about. We
Sock
got
bender.
Cockbender.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
and we've got fucking dude that did Manhunter, Fight Club, Seven.
I mean, is this Fastbender perfection?
I hope. I
I do
really
too.
hope.
I don't. Did we ever podlock on a movie he did called Frank?
I've heard of it, but we haven't watched it.
Wears a big paper mache mask the whole movie.
I heard you praise it.
Really good movie.
Yeah, 2014. It's got the dude from Ex Machina in it.
Mm.
Yeah. Hall
Maggie.
Gleason.
Yeah, Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
Was that the one he showed his junk in?
Shame. That's what that
Oh,
movie is,
okay.
I think.
Yeah, I heard there was a big bub about that.
Yeah.
People were
But
like, "Did you see the size of the credits?"
but
I was
Frank's
like,
really good. Good little indie film. You know how like what was the black metal movie with the Culkin in it?
"Yeah,
Lords of
yeah,
Chaos.
It imagine it's Lords of Chaos, but the indie quirky version.
Okay, so like
oh,
Beck.
Like it, yeah, like it culminates to just a gooky. I don't know. Sorry, a goofy. It's like a goofy kid that just wants to make music.
oh,
Um, Type of film where it's frank, like it's just like Fassbender's character, like, and the whole thing is he wears this paper mache hat. And he don't take that thing off for nothing, dude. And every time he'll go into like a club or a venue or whatever, hey, what's with the mess? And he'll hold out his hand, like talk to him. He'll be like, "Stop! I've got papers." And like that's his response to it. He just keeps walking, and everyone's just cool with it, you know.
it's
But yeah,
wild that he would pick a role where he wears that the whole time."
that's honestly the main reason I watched the movie. I was like,
Yeah,
this has got to be a good enough film, narrative
I remember
wise, for
seeing
him
the
to be
trailer
like.
and it was
I mean, don't
you're
get me
like, "What's
wrong.
happening?"
There is a sequence where you eventually you get the face reveal,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, the first 75% of the movie, masks don't come off.
Right. The killer.
All right, 3, 2, 1, play.
It's in a fucking basement.
There's windows. Yeah, you don't want to.
Yeah, I'm thinking he's back, guys.
Kind of got a little Dexter vibe to him.
Yeah.
Don't improvise. Fuck it, I'm improvising.
Hmm. I mean, I want to watch it.
Yes, absolutely.
It looks like he's dealing with some shit.
Yeah,
I mean, he's got to stick to the plan apparently.
yeah.
I mean, I know how
He's like,
that is.
what's in it for you?
Yeah, right.
Stick to
Oh,
the
you guys are
plan.
gonna love
Be
this.
selfish. Stick to the plan.
The book.
The Book of Clarence.
Okay, hang on. You
Yeah,
remember
you
that
got some explaining. You got
nah?
some explaining to do.
Yeah, it's a Sony Pictures movie. It dropped 14 hours ago, but the harder they fall,
Hmm.
that director made this movie, and I also saw that Jay Z. Oh, it's right down there in the. Jay Z's a producer. It's got some of his music in it.
Okay.
Cool.
Um, I mean, it's Black Jesus,
Okay.
but not a comedy. You'll see.
I
Okay.
mean,
I mean,
is it a long lost book?
it's just
Dare I
different.
say?
I don't know,
Okay.
It's one of
but shout
the
out to Black Jesus.
Stone
It'll make
Great
a
Tablets.
show.
yeah. Yeah, for real, it is a good show.
Y'all ready?
Oh yeah.
3, 2, 1, play.
I hate these little pre things like the trailer starts now. Jerusalem.
I think that dude on the banks was smoking something. That's something you never really see in stuff this old, is people smoking. Oh, look.
Is this a street hood movie done in Jerusalem? We're like, man, I want to be like Jesus, bro. It's a simple plan, man.
It's like the only 3 black people around over there. Always using this guy. I mean, he is smoking. Because you never.
Is that the beast?
It is.
I think so.
Watch this. I like the Prince remix.
This is not aimed at me, so I don't
Oh, it
look
looks interesting. It looks
interested.
like it might be a comedy.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, him smoking, like,
it'll turn into a comedy in like
yeah.
the third act.
That dude's good on Atlanta. I know I've said that before.
He's good in
So,
everything I've seen
so,
him in.
Yeah.
so what's good about Atlanta? Like, I mean, like,
It's just
I'm not.
it's
I mean,
so,
just
what's his name? I
well,
can't
like, what's
even
it?
begin to
What?
explain.
What's? Give me. Can you sum it up in one
Nah, I'll tell
sentence?
you later.
I
I'm not going there.
want some posterity. Is it just hood shit from Atlanta?
Nah, not really. It starts that way. I mean, well, I'll don't get to it.
Oh, so it's like,
Well, it's Childish Gambino that directed it. So it's
uh,
already gonna be off the wall. I mean, he
so it's a
created the
lot of
show,
this is
wrote it.
America.
No, but it is
Okay,
America. He's like, this is
fair
Atlanta.
enough. I'll leave it at
I'll
that.
get you slipping up.
The
Expendables
Expendablorables.
number 4. Yay,
Yeah, it's
another
a
one.
bunch of those guys.
All right, 3, 2, 1, play.
I don't think I've watched the third one.
I've only seen the first one. So, boom.
Oh
Is that
God!
50 Cent?
Can't stop making shitty movies.
Come on, they brought the trailer guy back.
Rated R.
Statham's gonna get up in that Megan box, you know?
Oh yeah.
I mean, dude, it's just a group of guys killing the pussy and eating the pussy, y'all.
Well, you heard him. That's a great idea. What are you ever playing? I ain't playing no more.
Yeah.
I'd rather watch this than Fast and Furious.
I mean, it's
Is
a weird tone for an Expendables movie, but okay.
well, the first Expendables came out and it was like bloody and gory, and it was so popular that they wanted them to make 2 and 3 PG-13 so that they could sell more tickets. And there was a whole big blow up over that. And like people were boycotting the movie because they wasn't making an R-rated, action throwback action movie. So that's
They
what
can't say fuck. Boo.
What's weird here is like the CGI and the green screen
Mm-hmm.
work doesn't look good. Like the trailer doesn't look like the movie's finished.
Case in point, the scene with 50 Cent and the gun. It looks like
Oh
he's in
yeah,
front of a
that doesn't look
painting.
good.
Yeah.
I don't
So
I
know.
mean, Megan Fox splayed out on a bed, sure, I guess. But
that can only get us so far.
I mean,
Yeah, you're
dude,
right.
unless
Because I
there's
can just look that
Bumblebee.
up.
Oh. Oh man, that's low, Adam.
I mean, you can just Google it.
Yeah,
Megan Fox on a
dude.
bed. There
Hey,
she
hey,
is.
hey, 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 hey. We keep Google out of this.
I don't.
You're like, Google,
You
come here, my
you
bitch.
Yeah.
you fucking Googleist. That's what you are.
Sometimes I'll be back there late at night in my room Googling myself. I'm a Googler.
Yeah.
He's back there Googling.
You just can't leave the QWERTY alone, can you?
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Cat
Google what this
person?
wallpaper is.
Is this a sequel to Wilfred?
Maybe.
I hope. I hope it's a smart ass fucking cat. It's like, what you fucking doing, bitch? Why'd you put that on that windowsill?
Well, you guys are in for a disappointment.
Damn it. God.
I was gonna say you thought it was a treat.
I imagine you're doing that on drop the trailer in the bag and you're like disappointment and then you just fucking haul
No, if
ass
that's
to
what
the
you have
moon.
in mind now, it's a movie, but
No.
it ain't. It ain't
I
no
just
Wilfred.
It's probably about some shut-in bitch with like a million cats. She can't find love, and
That's
then
the
over a
one.
90 minutes, some dude's like, "I'm gonna teach you how to love anything but a cat."
That's it.
Let's do it.
All right, 3, 2, 1, play.
At one Sundance, of course it's that. I'm the quirky woman that works at the movies, but I never watch movies. Adds to my quirkiness.
The tone changes.
Hi, I'm a 35-year-old woman that still texts on her phone like she's 16. Dude, this bitch has probably got red flags all over her, and that dude is fucking
Yeah.
creepy.
Just wait. Let it ride.
Let it cook.
Yeah. Because
Is this Zoe Deschanel?
No, it's just trying to. No, that ain't
No,
her.
the actress.
Mm-mm. No.
You pregnant?
The tone changed. The music changed.
Oh god, it's one of those movies.
Wait.
This is a movie where men are fucking stupid and we're gonna hate them. Provocative. Oh god. Fuck this movie.
So is it a comedy or a
I don't
horror
know.
movie?
It looks like a snooze. It looks like a genuine snooze fest, Griffin. I don't think the genre is gonna save it.
Trav, we were
Man,
just talking
RIP the
about going to
rest
the
of these
movies.
trailers, too.
We were just talking about going to the movies and watching this together. What happened?
I mean, no, canceled. Cancel.
Cancel.
I will
Fuck.
never watch this movie with you, Griffin. This is garbage. I wouldn't even let you pay for my ticket. It looks that bad, dude.
I was gonna buy popcorn.
I mean, dude, I'll
No,
eat the
it's just a
fucking
trailer,
popcorn.
guys.
We can, dude, we could.
Y'all have
Hey,
to suck each
Griffin,
other's dick over it.
look, hey, that comes later, Adam. You shut the fuck up. We're gonna get popcorn.
Yeah.
We're gonna sit on the steps. We're gonna look at the movie posters, and we're gonna go, hey, that's probably a better movie than we watched.
Y'all gonna
Hey,
hold
that one
hands.
too. Hey, that one's starring Kevin Hart. I bet it was fucking funny.
Are y'all gonna sit in the same seat, like next to each other?
Griffin's gonna
What's the
Adam's gonna
truth?
pop his head out the fucking door. Hey, are you done? That movie over there is, nah.
Mads. We
I
got
think
some
it's the
Mads.
I think it's the discount Billie Eilish that pissed me off about that trailer. I'm the monster under your bed. We got the Mads. Mads in the Promised Land.
That's the
Is this
Elvis
another
song.
Jesus movie? Oh,
Nah,
okay.
nah.
Oh. I'm like, Mads Mikkelsen's playing Jesus
Griffin,
too?
Griffin, you free Sunday for this one?
Yeah, always.
Cool. I'll get the blue chew.
All right, I'm gonna count it down. 3, 2, 1, play.
That came out of fucking nowhere.
What's funny is y'all know what the fuck I'm talking
I
about.
don't listen to podcasts. Hell yeah, no.
No, y'all saw that ad on X where it's like that woman being like,
Oh yeah, the bald chick.
yeah, the blue chew, and then she comes
Yeah.
out with a fucking walker, and he's like, you all right? Off a little bit.
This is like the foreign. There Will Be Blood.
Off with she's shining civilization. We're going to burn it down. No, this is.
Is that Matt
I
Smith?
dig the dialogue already,
Nah,
though.
it looks like him, but I don't think it's him.
Yeah.
It does look like him though. That's the same thing I thought. Nah. I don't know what's going on. I mean,
War is chaos. God is chaos. That's all I followed.
yeah, that jacket has a lot of buttons. That's what I'd say. Why you got so many buttons?
Oh, goddamn.
I want to go back in time to a Victorian era Taylor and be like, "What the fuck were you thinking, dude?
He's like, my name is Mr. Buttons.
We're going to wear
oh.
5 coats today. What is it? June." Why does that one guy look like Matt Smith? You must
It says
sacrifice
understudy.
everything to eat grapes at this manor. Thunderstorms, wine, empty fields, dead bodies. It's such a wretched land. But it's promised to you.
So Mads Mikkelsen's got some land. Matt Smith's understudy wants the land. They're having a war.
Victorian shenanigans abound. It's going to be a lot of fine dining and a lot of shit talk. Have you ate your Brussels sprouts? Yes. Have you killed my daughter?
Wait, this. Okay, I remember us talking about this Daisy Ridley movie.
Oh, dude, it's Ray Skywalker, y'all. I mean, Palpatine. I mean, it's that chick.
I'm interested in checking this out.
I mean, this opening shot looks like it's from straight up from Nat Geo, so yeah, let's do it.
3, 2, 1, play.
The Winding River.
Humanity.
It's for our broke ass. We only live in a fucking cardboard box, mother. Is this her American accent? Ooh, relevance.
Mm.
Ooh, that was a cool shot. Too bad it's not gonna be a cool movie. Bald guy on a four-wheeler in the woods. Totally trespassing. Oh god, this is one of those my daddy was a mean son bitch. It's one of them movies. Oh shit, is that the dad? I have to tap into my childhood instincts to survive my daddy's curse. I'm pretty sure the guy who made the soundtrack for this movie, or at least for the trailer score, it's like he was playing Mario 64 because he straight up took the bass line from the Bowser level. Boo, doo, 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 doo.
It was just funny because I was watching the end of the credits while you were doing that, where it's like, it's just this
It
is the
fits.
studio that made it. This is this. This
It
is that.
fits, yeah. Right? Tailor made. I busted out the fucking measurements too. I was like, you have a broad shoulder, sir. I have a three-piece that'll fit nicely. Give me a week. Foe. A movie about the power of friendship. Let's do this, y'all. Amazon Studios. It's a Bezos flick.
Damn. I
Not
hope
the
you like one
Bezos.
of these trailers at least. You
No,
like the first one, right?
no. I mean, no.
I'm just kidding.
They were all garbage, even
Yeah,
mine.
I
If we're
mean,
being fucking strictly honest here, the first one was a rip-off
it's
Tenacious D
stale out
fucking
there. The
movie.
writer's strike is really hitting
Yeah,
home.
yeah. Get
I'm
back,
having a
do
hard
your damn
time.
job,
It took me
Hollywood.
3 days to find the final trailer. Goddamn.
I mean,
I'm not joking. No. All right,
that's why the
3,
Cracker Barrel exists, y'all.
2, 1, play. It's a
Amazon
sci-fi. He's
Studios.
wearing a helmet. I think that's the chick from Lovely Bones. I don't know. That's her, right?
What a random pull.
Is
I
that
think it's the
her?
chick from the Lovely
Think
Bones.
so.
I
It
think
looks
it
like
is
her.
though. I think it is, dude.
She's a lot older now.
You never forget a face.
Not.
I'll take Mundane Lobs for 200, Alex. We're talking about you, dickwad. All right, I want the chromatic scale. All right, next note. That dude's discount Daniel Radcliffe.
What?
Based on the best-selling novel. Because everything. You goddamn right I do. Leave that bitch there and let me have the fun. What?
Well, it did say it was in the year 62 or 5?
Yeah,
That's
2065.
fucking. That's a. I mean, that's a
It's a
cool as
sci-fi
fuck
movie.
idea, man. Well, like, cause I mean, see, this is a sci-fi movie. I would at least give a shot.
No, it's Amazon Studios.
Oh yeah,
Fuck.
because it's Jeff
Yeah.
fucking Jeff cocksucking Bezos.
Jeff Bezos. You did it,
I bet
Jeffrey.
it's all Blue Origin tech too that's in the movie.
Yeah. It's a straight ripoff of fucking Outer Edge.
No, but like, no, those movies where, you have like a 10, 15-year gap between the present day
Yeah.
and like it is so goddamn high
So,
tech. You're like,
yeah.
holy shit,
Well, it kind of
I
had
like
a
the idea that,
interstellar kind of vibe.
yeah, like
Yeah.
2075 is not going to be that fucking different from now. I mean, synaptic touchscreens are probably going to be a little bit pretty badass,
Yeah.
pretty fucking ballin', I would say. But like, you're gonna live in the same goddamn house that people been living in for fucking 100 years. You know what I mean? Like all the shit that don't need to be fixed that probably should is not going to. There's not going to be smart highways where I get to sit in a car and go take me to Dirt Lord's house, and they're
Yeah.
like, all right, get some snacks, and I'm like, okay.
So it says that Hannon Jr. farm a secluded piece of land that has been in Jr.'s family for generations, but their quiet life is thrown into turmoil when an uninvited stranger shows up at their door with a startling proposal. So I'm guessing that the whole idea is they're living
Get
out
the
there.
land.
They need him to
Mm.
go into space for whatever reason, and then they're like, well, we'll replace him with a robot, and it's probably like them breaking down over time,
Trailer did
trying to,
not give that away at all.
yeah, because they at one point they said that he's like, I don't want to be replaced with a robot, and he's like, well, do you want her to be all alone while you're gone or something like that? So
Oh, so
uh,
it's like we're gonna have a robot that acts like you,
yeah, it would
so
be like a
she's
clone,
still.
basically.
She's like, can I turn it off?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can I give it the Bluetooth?
Get off, but yeah. Oh, he doesn't need Bluetooth, ma'am. Tickle his
That's a
palm.
button now, ma'am.
Yeah.
But you're a fucking liar, Adam. You didn't tell me you found a Bill Burr movie.
I just,
You told me you were like, man, it's dried up, dude.
yeah.
There's a trickle of water.
No,
There's
this is
water.
good. Well, I like the trailer. I don't
I
know
mean,
about
I hope
everybody
this
else.
is like, I hope it's some Rango shit, man.
It's only a minute, but the little bit I saw, I'm trying to watch a movie while I'm doing this too on my phone. You know.
I mean, dude, you're doing the Lord's work.
Well,
You're holding
the Dirt
attention
Lord's
span.
work.
You're doing quantum
I mean, you
Dirt
gotta
Lord at
have some
this.
bad trailers too. You know.
I mean,
If
hey,
they were all
listen.
bangers,
Even if they were
you wouldn't
bad,
get the fucking
hey, I
road
mean, do
trip
either of
off.
you get enjoyment out of watching a movie so bad it's good?
Yeah,
yeah.
I
true.
mean, there you go.
I just don't get around to it a lot.
I mean, neither do
You know what I
I, but I
mean?
appreciate that it's there.
Yeah, every now and then I'll catch one, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah, I mean,
this is so bad,
not
it's
quite
good.
as not quite as free as it was in the younger years. It's like I'm gonna watch this movie. It looks stupid as shit, but I'm gonna watch it. I got 90 minutes to burn instead of calories, but whatever. Bill Burr and Sandler, what a weird team
I
up.
don't. I want to see this. If it's anything like the trailer, I'm gonna watch it.
Well, let's podlock
I'm
it
gonna watch it.
anyway.
All right.
Let's podlock it. If you
Oh,
if it
dude, when
gets
the
an honor,
trailer goes off,
if
you're gonna
it
be like,
here's the thing.
oh, I watch everything with the
Anytime I
trailer now.
fucking hear, I'm gonna watch it anyway. Come out
Yeah,
of your mouth.
I watch a lot of shit anyway, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I want to podlock this one though.
All
Like
right.
you're like, hey man,
All
I'm gonna
right.
watch the shit
Well,
anyway.
fucker.
Fuck y'all. But it's like, no,
We'll
fuck
see.
you. We're watching it with you. We're gonna have comments. I'm
No,
bringing
you're gonna
notes. I'm
like
bringing
this.
the fucking iPod.
It's funny. All right.
Let's hit play.
All right. 3, 2, 1, play. Already in.
Yeah.
Look,
Okay.
Fucking beautiful dreamer.
yeah, look, look. Come on.
Yeah, dude. I know this is for fucking kids, man.
Right here.
Oh God,
I mean,
we
come
had to
on.
have a reference.
But
When
you
Adam
know it's gonna be
Sandler's
full of shit. It's
well, dude, I'm hoping that we can get on some level some good Bill Burr rants in
oh
here.
yeah.
Like just a moment where they're like, all right, here's the scene, here's the dilemma. Bill, just fucking
Yeah.
go with it, man.
All right, Bill, you're a turtle.
You're a pissed off turtle. You ain't going anywhere. You kind of like yourself. Fucking just go with it.
Kind of genius to have them stuck in that. That's a whole movie. They're just them in there watching the class.
Yeah.
Oh
The shit
yeah.
happening. Like, good. Who can't, you're sitting around. It's a turtle and iguana. They're in a class. What? Yeah, it's fucking Bill Burr and Adam Sandler. Oh, okay, yeah.
Are you getting pissed off, Bill? Yeah, kinda. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm kind of wondering why I even
Yeah,
came
he's
in for this
always
fucking audition. And they're like, well, good, because that's exactly what we need for the role. I was
Yeah.
hoping you'd say that. Skanda trailer. Here is the twist of the final act of Adam's trailer reel. Like this is the twist right here. I'm waiting.
So,
I'm
well, it's, we always do this. It's just the amount. It's only 2 minutes, but watch how many times this guy does something and looks at the camera. Just like, you know how
I
they
mean,
do
dude,
that?
I'm squirting Lubriderm in Griffin's hand right now.
What?
I mean, dude,
Let's do
Blue Chew, bro.
All right, 3, 2, 1, play. Come on.
it.
Where I'm from, I do not dance. I punch. Well, where I'm from, all I do is dance. You mean we can dance and punch at the same time? That sounds like some Ableton Live reverb. This motherfucker said Anaconda, y'all.
Tone shift.
Imagine a Bollywood Evil Dead.
Oh God.
There's probably one. Look at this guy.
A film
fucking-
about a
you
man
forget
being
about the
told to
simian.
mow the yard.
Why is everybody's eyes so red?
They're high as fuck.
Look at that. I mean, dude, come on. Look at this guy. His eyes are red. Come on, dude.
Everybody on set had pink eye.
The fight scenes always look like I could just step away and go buy that badass vape next door.
Come on. This dude. It's just over there. They got all that shit off of Bud K.
Oh, man. Good old Bollywood. Never fails. I mean, it makes me want to go like buy like really gross food from a vendor and be like, I'm here for Skanda, dude. They're like, you're white, aren't you? I'm like, huh, did the pale skin not give it away? Yeah, like we're at one of those like little vendor. You smell you sell the smelly fruit somewhere around here, right? Is it like that one way off over there? And it's some decrepit
Smelly
old fuck sitting there going like, "You want some of this smelly fruit?"
Oh, what do
You
they
guys
call
ain't
that
seen?
shit? That Duran?
Yeah,
What is it? Duran fruit? They call it something like that.
yeah. Like they
Yeah, it's the
crack that
smelly
bitch open
fruit,
like a
dude.
pineapple, and it's
They're like,
like,
it
God
stinks, but it's
damn.
fucking delicious. It's like,
Yeah, it's like
yeah,
we grew it in the
we got
freshest
some of that
toilet
shit here
water.
too. You know,
Yeah,
stinks, but it's delicious.
it's
What
called
are we gonna
Miracle Grow,
watch on the next one?
the sequel to the Goonies.
So no episode.
Yep, off week.
I'm fine
Nah.
with whatever. I mean, is it good?
Yep.
I mean, I feel like it's an honorable mention here, you guys. I know we're at the end of it. I know everybody's like, I gotta go. But like, just hear me out. Um, I was bored as shit and I started watching the Russian Avengers movie called Guardians. And it was so goddamn bad, dude. I was laughing. Like everything down to like the cold opening where like some shit happens and they're like, "What are we gonna do, guys?" And like in Avengers, he's all like, "This Maria, this is a level we're gonna do. We're at war." And it's like Avengers. Well, in this one, it's like, what are we gonna do? Guardians. And like down to the point where like their version of Shield is a fucking organization called Patriot, which is laughable. But so here's the logic of this movie. Back in the Cold War, they experimented on a lot of people. You got the guy who turns into the Hulk, he turns into a bear. You got the speedster, he runs with scythes. Like, the propaganda's fucking everywhere. So the government experimented on all these motherfuckers, and then they have like their shield version team or whatever be like, all right, guys, you gotta go get all of them to save Russia. And it's like, bet they're lining up to fucking do that. And never mind the fact that the opening credits where it's all like this really shitty fucking pop song where it's a woman all like, "You gotta protect the world, you gotta defend it, blah 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 blah." And it's like Stalin statues fucking everywhere. Like it's fucking stupid. It sucked. It was shitty, and I cut it off after 30 minutes. But got a cheap laugh after it. Yeah, I mean, dude, it's that bad, Griffin. Like, you'll be like, dude, I mean, I would say build a drinking game around every time they try to mirror an iconic shot from the Avengers movie, and you're gonna be drunk as shit within the first 40 minutes, dude.
I mean, sounds like a good time.
For
Getting
crying
drunk
out loud, the
after.
like, you know how most Marvel films is like, all right, we're gonna get the hero's journey throughout the movie, but we're also gonna kind of get little like beats of why the villain is the way he is.
Mm-hmm.
No, they cut to the chase in this motherfucker. It's just a briefing room, and they're like, "This guy's Orlando Fox, and he was experimented on, and he got electrocuted. And now he controls
Yeah,
shit.
this is the plot.
Better stop him. Better stop him, or he's gonna do bad stuff." And it's like, all right. But once again, kind of like with Ahsoka, the only reason that I held on did is because it's like the fucking misogynist part of my brain was like, fucking there she is. But it is what it is. It sucked.
Well,
So what are we watching next week, guys?
Indiana Jones is available.
You really want to watch that garbage?
Well, I want
Like,
to do
are
the
you
full.
saying you ain't ever gonna watch it?
I mean,
You
I
didn't
guess
plan
I'll
on
do it
it?
for the. Funny you ask, Adam. I'll do it for the pod.
Well, I mean, here's what I'm thinking. See what you guys are picking up what I'm putting down here. Next week will be the first week of September, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can do we can do and double up on one of them if y'all want
Oh, you
to.
want to watch two movies, Griffin? You got that kind of time?
Well, I'm thinking we'd do a indie month, but not like an
Okay.
indie movies, like an Indiana Jones month.
Oh, wait. You want to watch? Uh, Raiders and Temple 1 week, and then flush it out the rest.
Well, I think we do. I think we do Raiders, and then I think we do.
Dude, if we have an Indiana Jones month and we exclude Raiders instead of Last Crusade or Crystal Skull, I'm
No,
gonna
we
be a
gotta
little
watch them
pissed.
all.
Oh yeah,
We gotta
I'm
watch them all.
absolutely on point with you. I mean, dude, straight Pokemon with this
I'll
shit.
leave if we watch
Yeah,
them all.
I'll leave with you. I'll open the
Like,
doors on your way out and follow
yeah,
behind you,
you'll
dude,
hold. I'll
and
hold it for you.
slam it. I'll be like, "That's what you get, Griffin," and slam it. Lubriderm and Blue Chew's in the top drawer, fucker, and slam the door. You know.
Well, here's what I'm thinking. All right, so we do all the Indiana Jones movies because in October,
Yeah.
on October the 31st, will be
Mhm.
on Tuesday, which is when we'll be doing the pod on Halloween,
wow.
right?
Okay,
So
where you getting at?
so we
Are we
can
gonna
do
dress
all
up like no?
no, we can do all the Indiana Jones movies without doubling up, and then we'll still be able to hammer out 4 horror movies for October.
Man, do we really got to go for horror films though, man?
I mean, it's
October,
Spooktober.
Trav. It's a tradition.
Okay.
Just for you love horror movies. What the
Okay.
fuck?
So
But I
Let's get
mean-
into some joints, dude. Let's get into some like
Dude, for real.
Let's
fat
get into
ones at
some-
that.
I don't know, Poltergeist or let's go deep.
Yeah,
Okay.
hey, I'm
Let's not
down.
pick off the top.
Hey, give me the month of
Hey,
September.
I think
and
last
I'll,
time we did the Jason movies?
no, we did Halloween.
We did
Yeah.
Halloween. That's right.
Well, to
Yeah.
commemorate the fucking arrival 13th on
let's
streaming,
wait for
man.
that to come out. Let's.
Well, how about we fucking just. How about I cultivate a list and you guys cultivate one, and if we have one that makes the list on all three, obviously it's a
We have the
given.
same. Okay.
But like and then we take some and we do a little bit of a crunch, like
'Cause
we do like
we haven't
make a
seen
segment.
the great ones like The Exorcist or
Oh,
You
dude,
know,
I
we're-
would love. Yeah, so that'll work. So we'll watch all. Let's do all the indie movies,
Like
all
a
5 of them.
Preptober.
start next week.
Yeah, and then between now and that last indie movie, we'll make a list of the
Hey.
four movies we want to watch. And
I'm
like,
saying, how about this? If we're gonna go in, we go in hard. We go hard as fuck, dude. And we pick the 4 most controversial horror films in the fucking industry. And I'm gonna say one of them just to have it under our belt and get it over with. I say we watch Salo because it is absolutely a horror film.
well, I
Not
mean,
in the boo type of shit, but more in like the what the
Fucked
fuck.
up type of shit.
Yes, it is a fucking awful film. You guys will get no entertainment value out of it. I guarantee it. But it is a fucked up movie. And if we're going to watch a super fucked up movie, October's the best month
I
for
got
it.
a fucked
And,
up movie too.
and so far, I have not seen a film top Salo. I can say that. Now, unlike some of those pussies on the internet that watch it and they throw the fuck up and everything, like, it ain't that goddamn bad. I don't think any movie's that fucking bad.
Mm,
But when you watch it, you'll be like, all right, like the bar is set so high that like gross shit's not gonna ever fuck with you
Yeah.
again. I can say that much. So what do you guys say? Roll the dice?
no, we're watching Indiana Jones.
Yeah, man. Dial it
week.
fucking dicking down. I
no,
mean
we're
Destiny.
doing the first one.
Oh,
We gotta watch them in
temple,
order, right?
yeah,
The
we're
temple,
doing
the temple of raping their asses.
Oh,
we're doing Raiders.
Dude, that is one of my all-time favorite movies, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
All fucking time. Like if there's a top 5, like, all right, Travis, life's shit. You're fucking on an island now. Raiders of the Lost Ark's one of them. And if
Yeah.
I ain't got it, I'm gonna be mad for a little bit, at least a week.
so we do
After-
Raiders, then
Well, I mean, after a
Temple.
week, more important shit's gonna start kicking in.
yeah,
But you
like
know,
food
yeah, like why am I eating
Yeah.
coconuts again? Like,
because you're Coco Loco, dude.
At that point, I'm gonna be fucking like making stick people like the Mighty Boosh. I gotta put up some shelving.
Coco Loco's the name of that episode.
It's fucking great, man.
But yeah, I haven't watched I haven't watched the Indiana Jones movies in many years, so I'm excited. I love Raiders.
Oh,
I
it's
just haven't
still
watched it,
the last
so
time I revisited it was like about 3 or 4 years ago. I was like, I always get in this weird kick sometimes around the holidays. Like, I'll pull up movies that used to be
Mm-hmm.
on Marathon, you know.
yeah.
And during like the 4th of July, it's either 4th of July or Thanksgiving, but AMC would have all the Indiana Jones playing all day. And so I kept the spirit of that going one time and watched Raiders today. And I mean, dude, I loved it as much then as I did the first time I ever watched it, dude.
Yeah. Great
The
movie.
Ark of the fucking Covenant.
Yeah. Don't look
I'll
at it.
actually try to, I'll actually try to deep dive on some Ark shit that to talk about when we get around to it next week. Like I got some
Yeah.
cool little things I've seen and little oddball stuff that it's just fun to talk about.
Hell yeah. Let's
So
do it.
where's the check, Adam?
It's in the mail.
Check the post office, fuckers.
Blue Chew.
Right next door to it.